Okay, we need to drill a hole from that post into the bridge cavity, the bridge pickup cavity, so that we can get a wire there that will connect to the bridge and ground the strings. So I'm just going to take a small drill bit and put a piece of cardboard or some kind of thick cardstock down just to protect the finish while you're doing this. And then I'm taking a length of a wire here, and I've stripped about 1.5 inches or about 4 centimeters off the end. And I'm going to feed that through the hole we just drilled. And I'm just leaving that exposed copper wire in the hole there. You can see I'm pulling all the rest of it out. Then I'm going to take the stud out of that post. And I'm going to slide that in there so that that post will make contact with that wire. Then I'm taking a rubber mallet and gently tapping that into place. And when you get close to the finish, I'm going to take a small dowel rod that's just large enough to cover that and tap it in the rest of the way till it's flush with the finish. And now we can go ahead and put the remaining posts in place the same way. And now we're going to begin making the wiring harness so that we can pull the pots into the body of the guitar. So have your pots ready, your pickups, get your soldering iron ready. And now the output jack is the farthest thing away from the bridge pickup. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to kind of start far away from the pickup cavity and work our way towards the pickups. And I'm using some wire that's color-coded to the same colors as the wiring diagram, just to make it a little easier for you to follow along here. Okay, so our first connection's between the pickup switch and the output jack. I'm just going to measure a bit of wire that's more than long enough to make that distance. Then figure out which post is for the sleeve, the ground, and which the other one for the tip. Then attach the other end to your pickup switch. On my pickup switch, it actually connects to the 2 center posts. Different switches will vary on which post you'll be connecting to, so just check with the wiring diagram for that particular model. And then I'm going to solder this wire in place. And now once we pull the wiring in these pots inside the body, it's really hard to make any corrections. So double check your solder joints here and make sure everything's getting hot enough to the proper temperature. You don't want any cold solder joints or anything to come loose. And I'm just going to work this on the other side as well, just to make sure I've got a good solid solder joint here. Okay, there's our first connection. And as I make each connection, I'm going to take like a yellow highlighter, and I'm going to highlight that wire on the wiring diagram so that I know that I've made that wire and it's in place. This way, as we go along, you can easily tell which wires you've done, which wires you need to do, and when you get done, anything that's not highlighted is something you've missed and you need to go back and finish it. Okay, and then we've got, we're going to put some ground wires in now from the output jack. They'll go to the back of the pots. And now you can see here, note that the pots are seen on the wiring diagram from the bottom, like you're looking at it here. That's really important, especially when you go to connect the wiring to the pots. You don't want to get the post reversed. And I'm just going to take a little sandpaper and scuff the bottom of that pot up so I'll get a better solder joint onto it. Okay, now we also am going to put, this is a tone capacitor. You'll see the exact size. It's kind of hard to see the writing on those with this camera, so just double check that. Be sure you're putting that on the right post for the tone pot. And you can also vary the size of these capacitors to fit whatever tone you're going for with your guitar. The ones I'm using are pretty standard for a Gibson style guitar. And again, just make sure these are really good solder joints. This is one area where you just want to do this one time. And again, I want to highlight that we've got this capacitor in. Now we've got it connected up to our volume pot, and then we're going to connect that onto the switch. And again, highlight that wire. That's going to go out to the pickups. And we're just going to continue along like this. Take one connection at a time. Just be patient and double check everything you're doing.